And I did everything. I was very proud of it. And I went from being that guy to being a guy in a hospital bed without a leg overnight, just like that. I'm a paramedic, and that's what I did before my accident, that's what I do after. So I go from being a really, really strong individual to where everybody counts on me to help us overnight. Went through some depression, a lot of alcohol, a lot of pain meds. Things got bad, really bad for me for a while, to the point where I was looking to get into rehab to try to get off my pain medications and narcotics. We all know about the opioid epidemic we have. And a lot of it, I really believe, is to that. So anyhow, what I found out in life real quick is everything's either an obstacle or it's an opportunity. It's whatever you make of it. It could be the worst thing in the world, and there's still an opportunity in it. Me losing my leg was the best thing that ever happened to me. So many different occasions. And I'm not talking about the bobsledding thing either, because that's just fun. Better man, much better father, much better son. Slows you down, puts everything right back in perspective real quick. So again, everything in life, it's an opportunity, it's an obstacle or it's an opportunity, whatever we make out of it. You know, we all have bad days, we have good days. It's easy to start feeling bad about yourself, but we're pretty awesome because there's not many people do what we do. I mean, what percentage, I don't know what the percentages are of people in the US that are missing limbs, but we're a really select group. So we get up every day, we go to work, provide for our families, hang out with our grandchildren, our children, live a normal everyday life. I mean, the fact that just everybody's here tells me that that's the type of people they are, because the people that aren't here are the ones that are sitting at home feeling sorry for themselves, right? So I didn't have too much prepared, but I'll go back into the bobsledding stuff. So one day I was sitting at my daughter's dance rehearsal, and I get a phone call from my buddy, and he's an amputee. His name was Jason Sturm. He's a real good friend of mine. Actually, I think I called him, and he's like, "Well, I got you on the phone." I said, "You want me to do what?" Because he was a bobsledder. "You want me to do what?" Naturally, I said, "Okay, let's go do it." So I go up to Calgary, and I start sliding in the bobsled. It's a lot of fun. I crashed a lot, and it hurts. So I went to Calgary. The first year we messed around a little bit, and then I don't want to get up there and they put me in a bobsled and send me to the top of the hill. I don't even know if this thing had a steering wheel in it or what, right? So that's how bad it was. And I crashed a lot, like I said. And then I went down to Park City, Utah, and crashed some more. I sat there and I thought, well, maybe this sport just isn't for you. But I already had the season paid for, and then we was going to Europe. We left Park City and I finished. There was 22 people in this race. I finished 22nd. If they could have gave me 23rd, they would have. All right. You have the field is usually separated. You take two heats, you go down, and everybody's separated by time. Well, usually it's about a second between first and last, you know, because they time you to the 100th of a second. Well, there was everybody that was a second apart, and then there was another second and a half for Barry. So, if there would have been 45 people in this race, I finished 45th. So I went from being dead last, and then I'm like, you know what, this isn't for me, but I'm going to Europe because I've never been there. And I thought, I'm going to go to Europe, and I'm going to travel Europe, and I'm going to drink beer and hang out with my friends, and then this stuff's for the birds, because finishing last and crashing sucks. So I go to Europe, and we're practicing, and I'm sliding. I'm like, man, this isn't all that bad. Like, I'm not last, I'm not first, I'm right in the middle. And then I found myself getting a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And the last practice for the race, like, I'm top 5 times, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And that's about day 7 or 8 being over there. My mom calls me, and she said, "You ready to come home yet?" And I said, me being the arrogant asshole I am, I said, "No, Mom, I got a race to win." Well, I won it. It's a surprise of everybody. I'm pretty sure there's a video of a lap being out there with some comments, and his accent, and so nobody expected me to win that race, and I won it. And then we have the same race here the very next day. Well, after the first heat, you know, in Park City, there was Barry second half behind everybody else. Well, after that first heat, there was Barry second half ahead of everybody else, just like that. Just like that. Things changed just like that. So after the first heat, I'm sitting first. The second heat comes. Well, I'll just back up a little bit. During practice, there's a curve towards down to the end, and the thing about bobsledding is the more you steer, the slower you go because you cut ice. So the object I always thought was if I just get down the track without steering, makes sense. Well, it's kind of like organized chaos. Okay? Some of my runs weren't always the cleanest, they weren't always the prettiest, but they were fast. So the coaches kept telling me, Barry, you have to steer in this corner. And I'm like, no, I don't. All week. So finally I start to steer in that corner and everything's good. And yeah, it works a little bit better when you steer through there. It's not as rough. So I started taking their advice. And plus I just won the race before. So here's the second heat of the second race. I'm first place by a second and a half. And I come off the first curve and I slam into the wall. Well, everything about bobsledding is most of the winning is done at the top of the track because once if you got to get through the slow parts because it magnifies it at the bottom. So then my anxiety kicks over and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're in first and you just hit the wall, you big dummy. So I'm going down this track and then it gives my head, here comes that curve. I'm like, well, I can make up to this curve. I just want to steer through it, right? I'm like, okay. Here it comes. I'm like, you know, the coaches don't know what they're talking about. It's probably a good idea to steer, but you know, I've made it all week without steering through this curve. Go through that curve, wham, I'm on my head. So I'm sliding through curve 13, 14 on my head, and I'm thinking to myself, you moron. I can't help but laugh. And then the bobsled like flips back over, but it's already going really slow. And I cross the finish line, I look up my time, and I'm like, shit. That still wasn't all that bad. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at the time and everybody goes, and I still finished third that race. I could cross the finish line on my head and finish third. Now here's the funny part about it is.
Without the sled, though, right?
What's that?
Without the sled?
No, I was still in the sled. Yeah. Didn't get out of it. I don't know. I feel like if I end up out of the sled, it's going to end up behind me. And if it's behind me, I'm going to get ran over. So I just stay in. I look at the times, and at the time that I crashed, I was 2.5 seconds ahead of everyone. I had to race one, but because I was stubborn, I wanted to do it my way. Finished third. So we went off to Overhoff, and I finished 6th and 7th, and I went from being the worst bobsledder in the United States to the best bobsledder. So here I am now. I'm sliding on the World Cup circuit. I've been ranked #1 U.S. bobsledder the past 3 years for the para program. I qualified for 2 world championships. I finished 7th in the world championship last year, which happened to be the same track that I won at the year before. I don't know why I didn't win that race. I'm still mad. I even steered. I'm still salty over that one. The one that got away. So I actually retired this year in December from bobsledding. I came back out for one more race a couple weeks ago, and I won the first ever USA Para-National Championship. So Para-National Champion for USA Bobsled and Skeleton, and which is really cool because that's never going to be able to change. That's in the record book, so that's really cool. And you know, so being an amputee has given me so much. I've met the best people in the world. I've made the best friends in the world. You know, I walk in here like I own the place. I come in, where's Rick? Where's Bobby? Where's Judd? I went upstairs, all right. You know, I just walk up, you know, it's definitely a great community.
Well, how long has it been since you lost your motorcycle?
2012. 2012, and I made it back to work as a paramedic in 7 months. But that was on me.
Was you below knee or above?
Yeah, I'm below knee. Now that's, obviously there's a big difference there.
It certainly
There's a
is.
huge difference there. This is a flesh wound compared to above the knee, But even then, I still feel like you say your limits. I got a friend out in Vegas who's above knee amputee. And you just see the guy run on a treadmill. Just, but I mean, it's because he wants to do it. He was the first ever world champion para skeleton athlete. He went down head first. Really good. The thing that got me the most is when I was going through my depression and probably the darkest time of my life was I was sitting in my chair and I was probably drunk. And my daughter looks at me and she says, and she was probably 4 at the time, she said, "Daddy, are you going to push me in the swing this summer? Are you going to be able to push me in the swing this summer?" Oh yeah, I am. That was it right then and there. That's when everything changed. That's when I decided to make it an opportunity instead of an obstacle. It's what it is. It's what we make of it.
Since you've retired, what's ahead for you?
Well, I've got this crazy idea that, I retired from the World Cup stuff. I don't think I really retired from the bobsled stuff in general. I'm gonna still fiddle around in it. But I've got this crazy idea of getting in a 2-man sled and finding another amputee to push with me. And I want to race the able-bodied people is what I want to do.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That's what I want to do. I got a buddy out in Oklahoma who, he's an amputee and he's a sprinter. He won't text me back because he knows what I want.